Assalamu alaikum, students. I hope you are fine. I'm here with your lecture of biology, that is for grade 9. It's chapter number 5, and the name of the chapter is cell cycle. Very important chapter, and it's not easy to understand because it's very scientific. So you need to involve your full senses so that you may get the idea that what is this cell cycle. Firstly, please try to understand that the entire body of a living organism is made up of cells. Okay, small units called cells which make up the body of organisms. They have to pass through the process of organization of life. That means cells, they form tissues, then tissues they combine, and then they form organs. Different organ systems are formed, then different organ systems coming together and forming the body of an organism. Here we have to see that this cell cycle, this cell, that means cell has a cycle. That means firstly a cell is produced, and then this cell has to pass through different phases, and those phases are known as a series of events that cell goes through in order to form a cell like that. So what is cell cycle's definition? Definition is that it is the series of events from the time a cell is produced, means once one cell is produced. Okay, if it's a sexual reproduction, so that means father and mother, they combining, forming one cell, that is in form of zygote. Then this cell has to go through a series of events, and then it has to produce its copies. Okay, let's see how until it completes its mitosis and produces new cells. It consists of two major phases, that is interphase and mitotic phase. Now cell, in order to reproduce, has to pass through two phases. Now what are those two phases? That means phase 1 is interphase. Interphase is the phase where cells enter, or cell tries to prepare itself for the process of division. And this phase is furthermore, my dear, consisted of three phases or sub-phases. First we need to see what is interphase. A phase when cell's metabolic activity is very high as it performs its various functions. Means it's very natural that when you want to do something, any task, so you prepare yourself mentally, you prepare yourself physically. Let's take an example of a wrestler. A wrestler has a fight, so that means in order to fight against someone, firstly you need to prepare yourself physically. Then coaches, mentors, they prepare you mentally. Okay, and when there is no one to guide you, so that means then you cannot succeed. It's very rare that you will have a success. So the same is the story with the cell. Cell, in order to prepare for this process of cell division, it has to take some measures. It has to pass through different phases or steps, and then first, that's preparatory phase. It is consisted of three phases. The first phase is known as G1 phase. So there are a few highlighted characteristics of this phase. Firstly, it improves or it enhances its supply of proteins, that is the food of the cell. Okay, that is food for the cell. Then of course definitely it's going to divide the certain organelles, one cell is going to be divided in two. So both the cells, they need all the things like organelles, like you say mitochondria, you say Golgi bodies, you say nucleus even. So that means it has to increase, or it has to enhance, or it has to grow in size. So three things I said. What? In G1 phase, cell prepares itself for metabolic activities, increases the supply of proteins, increases the number of organelles, and then the third thing is it grows in size. It grows in size. Then is the second phase of interphase, that is called synthetic phase and termed as S phase. In S phase, it's very special. One of the most important thing that contains DNA of a person, that contains hereditary material for the living organism. So that is present in form of DNA, and that DNA is present in form of chromosomes. So that supply or the amount or the quantity of those chromosomes is duplicated. You see here. Here you have one chromosome. Here you have one chromosome. These are two daughter nuclei. That means two newly formed cells. In the next phase also, you see here it has one chromosome, but once it goes to S phase. Can you see? This is S phase. This is G1 phase. Three things: protein synthesis, then organelle synthesis, that means increasing the number of organs, and then grows in size. Three things. But we move to the next phase, that is S phase. This is S phase. In S phase, you see this is one chromosome in G1 phase. Then G1 phase coming here, and then here you see the number of chromosomes. This is doubled now. Now you have two chromosomes. That means duplication of chromosomes. Now that means after this G2 phase, what happens? Cell has duplicated its all the possible materials. Now what will it do? That is G2 phase. This is the third phase. So what is first phase? G1 phase. It prepares itself with various actions, improves its supply of nutrients or the proteins, and then it also grows in size, increase number of organelles. Step 2, the synthetic phase. What is synthesized? Chromosomes. Number of chromosomes is doubled. Then we go to the next phase, that is G2 phase. In G2 phase, we say protein synthesis for mitosis. In next phase, that is M phase coming after G2 phase, that is mitotic phase, and that is present here in form of mitosis. So firstly, my dear, you need to know what is mitosis. Mitosis is the process of cell division in which one cell divides into two, okay, but with the same number of chromosomes. There is a major difference between meiosis and mitosis. First, please understand, mitosis and meiosis both are the processes of cell division, but in mitosis, the number of chromosomes is retained by the cell after division, but in meiosis, the number of chromosomes is reduced to half. For example, if it's a human being cell, it contains 46 chromosomes. That means half of that will be 23. But if a human being cell is divided by the process of mitosis, so the number of chromosomes will remain 46. That means 23 pairs. But if it is divided by the process of meiosis, so that means the number of chromosomes is going to cut short to 23. Okay? I hope you understand something. You would understand gradually. This is G. It's a G after S phase is G2 phase. I pardon. I made a mistake here. I will have to correct it. Okay, please here. It's G2 phase. Okay, G2 phase. G2 phase. Here, cell prepares proteins for mitosis. After this phase, cell enters into M phase, that is mitotic phase. I told you here in G2 phase, protein synthesis. That means cell prepares proteins. We are going to be used in the next phase, that is mitotic phase. Now here, the third G0 phase, it's also one of the phase of the cell. In multicellular eukaryotes, that means the organisms which are made up of eukaryotic cells having a nucleus, cells enter G0 phase. When this is a phase, 0 means it's a stop. That means sometimes some cells, they stop the process of growing. Okay, what are the examples? G1, after G1 phase, that means after G1 phase, few cells they stop, okay, their activities. G1 phase and stop dividing. For example, neuron cells, okay, for indefinite period of time they go through a G0 phase. So that means there is no further growth, there is no further division. We also say liver and kidney for semi-permanently. I mean, for some time they also go through a process called G0 phase, where they don't go for their metabolic activities or cell division process. And some cells, they never go for the G0 phase. For example, of muscle cells throughout our age, they go on increasing or they go on decreasing. Somehow the process of division remains continuous. Now this is the diagram of cell cycle. You see, it is consisted of the cell cycles. First phase, that is interphase. This diagram is presenting interphase. Consists of three phases: G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase, and the second one is M phase. Of course, we will study in the next phase that what is M phase. It's mitotic phase. This is the process of cell division. G1 phase, I'll just repeat what happens. One cell prepares itself. What cell? For the what cells? Protein synthesis, organelle synthesis, and grows in size. Then second is S phase. In S phase, duplication of chromosomes. I told you the number of chromosomes. This is the chromosome. This is the cell. This is the nucleus. Now here you see a character or organelle that is called centrosome. Okay, it's centrosome. Its singular is called centrioles. Now this is a single. This is a single, but at some stage, see, they are duplicated as well. Now they are migrated at opposite ends, and you see by the time they reach here, and then they will give out some sort of structure. We will study them in the next phase, would be known as spindle fibers. Okay, and here you see some other these red dotted lines or structure that you are just watching. These are the proteins. Now these proteins are synthesized because these are their energy boosters. These are the enhancers. This is the food of the cell. Okay, so this is going to be used in the next phase, that is mitotic phase, or in form of mitosis, that where the cell will be divided. So what did we learn? We learned that for the process of cell cycle, cell has to pass through two major phases: interphase and mitotic phase. Most of the time that cell spends is for preparing itself, and 90% of the time for the cell cycle it is consumed in the phase called interphase. Okay, and then the second phase is of course mitotic phase. Here the cell divides, and for that whatever the things are required, for example essential proteins, they are prepared also in the last phase of interphase, that is G2 phase. Another thing we learned that some of the cells they pass through a period of no division, and that phase for them is known as G0 phase. And all the cells, they do not go through that. Some cells they go for indefinite period of time, some cells they go for semi-permanently, and some cells they never go for the G0 phase. I hope you understood this. There is a little that I got to explain to you. This structure that I have drawn here purposely, this is chromosome. This is a chromosome, the complete structure. Okay, that means starting from here till here, it's one chromosome. But my dear, it's consisted of two parts. One part here, one part here. These two are chromatids. Two chromatids make one chromosome. But see, here it is one chromosome. Okay, and here is another chromosome. Okay, now these two chromosomes, they have how many chromatids? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the 4 chromatids, and they are connected here by a point that is called centromere. Now there are two things: centromere and centrosomes. Never be confused. It's a point where a protein combines or joins two chromosomes, whereas centrosomes, these are organelles in the cell which help in the process of division. Okay, I hope you have some idea about all these things, and I hope we will discuss them in the next phase, that is called mitotic phase of the cell, and I hope we learn more. Thank you so much wherever you are. I pray that you stay blessed and stay safe. So God bless you always and everywhere. That is my only message to you. I hope it will be beneficial for you. So if not, if I made any mistake anywhere, you just may pardon me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I was able to convey you somehow. If you have any confusion, you can contact me freely. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz. Take care.